Hey everybody, Rich with Prep U down here outside the bunker at my desk. Hey, this is a cool little video. I thought you might be interested in this video. We had our block party, which we always have in October, just the other day, and we were kind of sitting around talking. A lot of the guys were hanging around the fire, and we were talking about dogs and protection and stuff like that. These times you never know whose house is going to get hit or what's going to happen. And like I said, most of us have dogs, and we were talking about dogs. And I says, and one guy goes, well, I'm not really a big dog guy. I like cats. And I turned to him, I says, you like geese? He goes, do I like geese? Never heard of anybody say anything like that. I said, what about chickens? And the guy goes, yeah, I love chickens. I says, well, you can use geese and chickens. And he goes, geese and chickens? What do you mean, for protection? I says, yeah. I said, I remember when my cousin came home from Vietnam. He was a rescue helicopter pilot. He was there for a little over a year, and he showed us some pictures of their compound, and they had fences and barbed wire and stuff like that, and then they had another row of barbed wire and stuff like that, and fencing, and at the corners they had these little houses, and there were geese. And I said to him, I says, Gary, I says, what's with the geese? He says, we use those for security. I said, really? He says, yeah. He says, they're very skittish or finicky. They're very protective, of each other. And when anybody would come up to the outer perimeter, the geese would start going crazy and start honking. And he says, some of the places we had chickens, and the chickens were good too because we got the eggs. He says, but the chickens, they're very skittish, and they would start squawking and stuff like that. He says, because the guards were always awake, and once they heard the geese and the chickens going crazy, the lights would come on, and they'd check that perimeter, that area, and stuff like that. And he says, so it was really good. So some of the guys were going, really, that's really interesting. And I thought about that, and I went, well, there's got to be maybe other animals, that people use for protection of, you know, crops and, livestock and stuff like that. And so I decided to go online and look up, what people use to protect their home, protect themselves, protect their livestock, protect, like whatever, fowl or, goats and stuff like that. So I perused the internet and I came across this site, pretty cool site. It's called Tree Hugger, treehugger.com, and a lot of great articles. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a tree hugger, but I believe in protection of stuff like that. And they have an article, and it's by Jamie Heimbach. This is dated July 5th, 2020. So kudos to you, Jamie, on Tree Hugger. Really appreciate it. It talks about the top 8 animals for protection. And, they talk about right off the bat, for millennia, dogs have been used, as constant guardians of warners of foot. But other animals can deter thieves and protect our valuables. Number 1 is donkeys. Okay. Guard donkeys can also be stationed with sheep, protect the woolly companions from harm instead of sheepdog. We know that people use sheepdogs. According to Modern Farmer, donkeys are capable of dishing out crushing blows with both their front and hind legs, as well as using their large teeth to bite raiding intruders. Number 1, donkeys. That's pretty cool. I thought that was very interesting. Here's one that you and I aren't going to have, but I know the military has used them. Dolphins. I'm sure you've heard about people, the military using dolphins for different things. They've used them to transport magnetic mines onto ships of the enemy and stuff like that. Um, but they use it for protecting ships and patrolling harbors. Bottlenose dolphins, with their keen intellect and advanced sonar system, are able to detect underwater threats, including mines. Probably put a camera on those guys nowadays and just let them swim around and have a good time. Number 3, llamas and alpacas. Well, if you've ever been to a petting zoo with your kids or your grandkids, you know all about those guys, but they say, what do they say? They might not look like the toughest of guard animals, but llamas and alpacas are pretty tough, especially when compared with the sheep they are enlisted to protect. So another animal that will protect the sheep. Their territorial nature and fighting instincts are great deterrents for predators. After all, if you've ever been face to face with a tall, toothy llama, you know they can be pretty intimidating. And I gotta agree with you. My granddaughter won't even go near a llama. But on top of that, they're kicking, spitting, and screaming. They chase off smaller predators like foxes, coyotes, and weasels. Pretty interesting, huh? Number 4, geese. And we just, I told you the story about my cousin in Vietnam and the different compounds he was at with the geese. Geese are credited with warning the Romans of a sneak attack by the Gauls a long time ago. I remember my grandmother, who was born and raised on a farm here in Illinois, that they raised geese. And when the geese got crazy, she said her dad would head out with her older brother with the shotguns to see what was going on outside. And a lot of times it was foxes and stuff like that. We didn't really have many bears. It says while they won't be able to fight off attackers of large size or with sharp teeth, they certainly can scare off more meek intruders and are highly effective warning system. Number 5, ostriches and emus. Um, Ostriches can really do protect their area, highly protect their areas. They can range 7 to 10 feet in height, weigh between 200 and 300 pounds. Now, that I didn't know. A 300-pound bird coming at you, running at you at up to 40 miles an hour. Think about that. They can kick like no one's business, too, and are willing to fight to defend themselves or their chicks. The ostrich's long, powerful legs and sharp claws can be formidable weapons, and the same with emus. Um, Here's one not in our country so much, but cobras. They talk about that the Sanken Zoo in Stockholm decided to release a cobra to protect the zoo from the epidemic of animal threats. Now, it says here that the cobra never bit anybody, but just the fact that they had a news release saying that they released these cobras around the cages of these animals and fish tanks and stuff, the stealing stopped. Got to figure. How about this? How about alligators? Use alligators too if you wanted to, depending on where you live. And they talk about a couple stories that in 2011, a 4-foot-long alligator named Wally was found guarding 2,200 marijuana plants worth $1.5 million. In 2013, police found 34 pounds of marijuana being guarded by a 5-foot-long dwarf caiman named Mr. Teeth in California. And in 2016, 2 crocodiles were found guarding 500,000 euros worth of crystal meth, synthetic drugs, firearms, and 300 euros in cash in Amsterdam. Hey, I guess you got to think outside the box sometimes when you want to protect yourself. All I know is if I look in the door and see an alligator sitting there, I don't think I'm going in there. And screamers. I don't know. I never knew what a screamer was until I read this. Screamers are basically a bird from South America. And they are made to be guardians. The American Bird Conservatory notes screamers are the guard birds for their habitat. Their trumpet-like calls can carry for several miles, warning other birds of approaching danger. It article says basically if they're this good at warning other birds of danger, then no surprise humans have used their watchful ways for our own purposes. So I just thought, I thought it was kind of funny. It was a great conversation I had with the guys at the block party, and a lot of people. I thought maybe you'd like to see this kind of article. So if you don't like dogs, you can use alligators. If you don't like alligators, you can use emus. If you don't have the room for emus, maybe a screamer from South America is your choice to protect your stuff, protect you, your family, and your preps. So thanks for watching. Really love doing these fun videos to just be a little bit more knowledgeable about what's out there. So as always, subscribers, thank you very much. If you're not a subscriber, what? You're not? Please subscribe and pass this on to other people so they can subscribe. As you know, we've got 300 over 300 videos that can really help you out. Wintertime protection, stuff for your car, all kinds of things for bags and bag out bags and what you need if you're gonna stay at home and shelter in place. So, but we really thank you for watching this video and passing it on. And we always end our video with this. Always be aware of surroundings, no matter where you're at, home, away, at work, which I guess would be away. Always have at least, very least 3 months of food, water, and medicine on hand. Also the needs to protect that, and also the ways to cook that should your regular cooking devices not work. And please, please prep like your life depends on it, because it really does. Only you know what to prep. So think about it. Get your preps up, get ready. Wintertime's coming. Thanks a lot. Take care.